Hi, in this video I want to show you the concept of a new tool to develop the software for digital hardware synthesizers. The idea is that you first create a model of the synthesizer by dragging and dropping components from a library onto a diagram. Let's say I want to make a drum machine, then I can drag and drop a couple of push buttons on the diagram. Maybe the drum machine has a couple of knobs. Maybe the drum machine has a couple of LEDs that can be turned on or off. Perhaps it has a small text screen, displays some information. And probably it also has a couple of audio inputs or a MIDI input or output. Besides that, the synthesizer may also communicate with the world via Wi-Fi. And so we can drag a Wi-Fi component and maybe also some other components like timers, some internal timers where you can do some processing. After that, you can start writing the code for the system. And so in this case, the tool will also provide a framework that acts as a middleware between your application code and any of the drivers for the components you used, like the ADC or the LED or the LCD screen, and perhaps also the operating system. Basically, you double-click on one of the components and an editor will open and you can start writing the code. For example, in this case, what happens when you turn one of the knobs. And maybe you can also do some processing when you receive some data via the Wi-Fi component. You can also test your code in simulation. So if you play the button, the components become interactive and can push the buttons or you can turn a knob and you can see what your code is doing. In this way you can quickly iterate on your design and make changes to the code and see what happens. I'd like to ask your feedback on this concept. I would like to understand what's most important for you. Is it the middleware, the framework that provides you all the boilerplate code between your application code and the drivers? Or do you think the graphical environment is most important, where you can interact with your code and simulate it in real time? Thank you already for your comments and advice.